Welcome to the FSA Writing and Reading Practice Session. In order to begin, please double-click on the FSA portal icon on the desktop. Then click Test Administration, and then click TA Training Site. You will then log in as a guest. If you are unable to do so, please wait for your teacher to give you instructions. Today you are going to learn how to use the test delivery system, the test platform you will use to take the computer-based Florida Standards Assessment. This practice test is designed for students who will take the FSA English Language Arts Writing Test. You will be given a planning sheet on the day of the test to organize your response. However, today you may use your own paper. Remove all materials from your desk except your pen or pencil and scratch paper. Your computer or device should be opened to the Student Practice Test login screen. Please follow my instructions or your teacher's instructions and do not change screens until instructed to do so. Now look at the login screen. If you do not see the screen, raise your hand. Once again, make sure that you're logging in as a guest user. You will now have the option to select grade. Please select grade 9 and then click Yes to continue. First, we're going to look at the material for the grade 9 ELA Writing Practice Test. Select the arrow beside Start Grade 9 ELA Writing Practice Test to proceed. Now you should see a screen that says, "Is this your test?" Verify that the screen displays the correct test. This screen will also allow you to choose the print size, background color, and mouse printer size and color for your test. Please ignore all of the other accommodations that are offered, as your device probably cannot make these accommodations. If you would like to change any of these settings, you may do so now. Also, if you have any questions, raise your hand and your teacher will help you. Now that you have chosen your test settings, select Yes, Start My Test. Now you will see the Test Instructions and Help screen. Do not select Begin Test Now until I instruct you to do so. First, this screen will display your print size and mouse and color choices. If you do not like the choices that you made, select Return to Login. Sign in again, change your choices, and select Yes, Start My Test again. Take a moment to review the test instructions and help. However, this guide will walk you through all of the different tools you'll be using during the test. These instructions are here to help you remember how to navigate in the test and how to use the tools and features of the testing platform. We will discuss these tools in more detail in the next screen. These instructions are also available for you to reference during the practice test. Now, select Begin Test Now, but don't begin yet. All right, please listen as I describe this screen. For the FSA ELA writing test, you will see a reading passage or passages on the left side of your screen, and the writing prompt and response area will be on the right side of your screen. There may be two scroll bars on your screen, one to the right of the reading passage and the other to the right of the writing prompt and response area. Now, slowly scroll down in the reading passage section on the left by moving your cursor into the reading passage section and either clicking the down arrow at the bottom of the scroll bar or by clicking and dragging the scroll bar. You may also possibly use a mouse wheel if your mouse has one. If necessary, do this again in the writing prompt and response area just to get a feel for it. When reading a passage, always make sure that you scroll down all the way to the bottom and read the entire passage. Now, in the top left corner of your screen, you'll find some navigation buttons. The back and next buttons look like arrows pointing left and right. They permit you to move between pages on a test. The back button is deactivated, and you will not need to use the next button because there's only one item or question on the FSA ELA writing test, your essay response. To the right of the next button, you will see the Save button. The Save button looks like an old-fashioned 3.5 floppy disk. It allows you to manually save your work. This is an optional feature. If you do not select this button, your response will be saved automatically every 2 minutes. But if you just want to make sure, keep on clicking it to make sure your response is saved. Next to the Save button is the Pause button. The Pause button allows you to pause and exit the test, but don't select the Pause button at this time. To the right of the Pause button, you will see the End Test button. It's big and red. Do not select the End Test button at this time. We will discuss the Pause and End Test buttons more later on at the end of this practice test. Now, I'm going to describe several tools that may help you with this computer-based practice test, and you can practice using them. At the top right corner of your screen, you will find the Notes button. Select Notes now. A notepad will display in a pop-up window. You can select and drag this pop-up window around the page if needed. Now practice typing some notes on the notepad, and then click Save and Close. Have you closed it yet? Go ahead and do so no matter where you are. Now click Notes again, and you'll see your saved notes appear. These notes are not included as a part of your writing response, so don't accidentally write your essay there. Once again, notes that you save in the notepad will be saved for the duration of the test. To close the notepad without saving the notes you've typed, select Cancel. To save the notes you've typed and close the notepad, select Save and Close. Alright, now close that notepad. To the right of the Notes button, you'll find the Line Reader button. The Line Reader tool helps you track line by line as you are reading the passage or prompt. Now select Line Reader. When you have selected the tool, the button will turn orange. The Line Reader appears on the title of the first passage. Click another line on the screen, and the Line Reader will move to that line. You can also move the Line Reader by using the up and down arrow keys on your keyboard. Go ahead and practice using the Line Reader tool on the screen. Now, click Line Reader again, and it will turn off the tool. The button will revert to its original color. Next to the Line Reader, find the Zoom Out and Zoom In buttons. You can use these buttons to increase and decrease the size of the text within the test page. 4 levels of magnification are available. Now practice using the Zoom Out and Zoom In buttons to find the zoom level with which you are most comfortable. At the top right side of the page, above the zoom buttons, find a small question mark in a circle. This is the Help button. Now select the Help button. A pop-up window with the Help guide, including an overview of the test site, test rules, and accessing context menu tools, will appear. Note that you can select and drag this pop-up window around the page if needed. This is the same screen that you reviewed before beginning the practice test. These instructions remind you how to navigate within the test and how to use the tools and features in the testing platform. Take a moment to scroll through these instructions. Raise your hand if you have any questions about the information in the help guide. If you don't have any questions, go ahead and close that help guide by selecting the X in the gray circle at the top right corner of the window. All right, in the top right corner of the Reading Passage panel, that's the one on the left, find the Expand Passage Item tool, which looks like a double-sided arrow. This tool will expand the Reading Passage panel or the Prompt and Response panel so that it takes up most of the screen. Now, select the right pointing arrow of the Expand Passage Item tool to expand your Reading Passage panel. Selecting the left-facing arrow will collapse the Reading Passage panel. Now select that left-facing arrow of the Expand Passage Item tool, The reading passage panel will shrink and the prompt and response panel will cover the screen. Go ahead and click the right-facing arrow and you'll see both the passage and the prompt and response panels. Now, look at the top right corner of the prompt and response panel. You will see 3 horizontal lines. This is the context menu. Click the lines to open the context menu. First, you will see a lowercase I, then a flag icon, an arrow around a clock face, and a grayed out line that says Highlight Selection. Select the lowercase I. This is the tutorial tool. A pop-up window opens that displays a video tutorial of this item type. There is no sound available for this tutorial. You can also access the tutorial by right-clicking, if available on your device, in the prompt and response panel and selecting Tutorial. Now, close the window by selecting the X in the circle at the top right corner of the pop-up window. Now, select the context menu and then select the flag icon for Mark for Review. For other FSA tests, including your reading test, you can mark an item for review by selecting this option. You will not need this tool for the FSA ELA writing test because there's only one test item, but it will definitely come in handy for your reading test later on. The Select Response Version tool allows you to view and return to previous versions of your writing response. For example, if you delete a portion of your essay and then continue writing, but later on decide that you would like to access the deleted portion of your work again, the Select Response Version tool will allow you to do this. In the response area, type a short sentence and then click Save. Got your sentence? It can be pretty much anything because we're just practicing. All right, now erase your sentence and type a new one. Again, it can be literally anything because we're just practicing today. Type out that new sentence and click Save again. All right, from the context menu, click the Select Response Version tool. From the window that displays, click on the version numbers to see a preview of the response versions available to restore. Select the version number you would like to restore and click Select. Click Cancel to close the Select Response Version window without selecting a previous version. Next, you can use the Highlight Selection tool to highlight portions of a passage or prompt. To highlight, click and drag to select the text you want to highlight. Then right-click in the selected area and select Highlight Selection. Your text will then be highlighted. To remove the highlighting from text or reset all highlighting, right-click in the passage or prompt area, then select Remove Highlight or Reset Highlighting from the context menu. Note that if you have multiple sections highlighted, choosing Reset Highlighting will remove all highlighting from that passage or prompt. To remove only certain portions of highlighting, select the text you want to remove highlighting from, right-click, and choose Remove Highlighting. Practice highlighting and removing highlighting from words in the passage or prompt now. Now, look at the formatting toolbar below the writing prompt and above the response area. The formatting toolbar contains a variety of options you can use to format your response. On a computer, if you are unsure what a button on the formatting toolbar does, you can hover your pointer over the button and a description will appear. The first box contains options to make your font bold, italicized, or underlined, or to remove any formatting from the text. To undo formatting, you can highlight the appropriate text and either select the formatting choice, such as bold again, or select the fourth button in this section, which looks like a T with an X subscript beside it, to remove the formatting. The second box contains options to insert or remove a numbered list, to insert or remove a bulleted list, to decrease indent, or to increase indent. The third box offers options to cut text, copy text, paste text, undo the last action, and redo the previous action. The final button allows you to insert special characters. Now, take a moment to practice using the various options in the formatting toolbar. Go ahead and take some time to begin the practice test according to your teacher's expectations and instructions. Either read or browse the passages and then provide some kind of response to the prompt while practicing using all of the tools available for this test. Now, we will practice how you will exit the test if you need to leave the room for an extended period of time during the actual test. The pause button allows you to pause and exit the test for an extended period of time. Now, go ahead and select pause. A pop-up window will appear and ask you to confirm that you want to pause the test and to ask your test administrator before pausing your test. You should then verify with your test administrator whether you should pause your test. For today, select No. On the day of the test, if you have your test administrator's permission, then you'll select Yes. But for now, select No. Now we will practice how you submit the test when you are finished. Select End Test at the top left corner of the screen next to the pause button. You will see a message that directs you to select Yes to submit your test. Go ahead and select Yes. A final warning message will appear that reads, "You have reached the end of the test. Click Submit Test to submit your test." Click Submit Test. A pop-up will also appear asking if you are sure you want to submit the test. The tension is building. It's so exciting. Select Yes. You will now see a message that says, "Practice test completed." Select Log Out. All right, that is the end of the writing test. And once you have logged out, you need to make sure you log back in again as a guest. But this time, we're going to select the 9th grade FSA ELA reading test. So once again, log in as a guest, select grade 9, but this time choose the FSA ELA reading test. So once again, today you're going to learn how to use the test delivery system, the test platform you will use to take the computer-based grade 9 FSA English Language Arts reading assessment. Just like with the writing test, you will be given a CBT planning worksheet on the day of the test to take notes during each session of the ELA reading. However, today you may use your own paper. Again, like with all these tests, you'll be told to remove all materials from your desk except your pen, pencil, and scratch paper. Your workstation or device should be open to the student practice test login screen. You should always follow the test administrator's instructions and not change any screens until you're told to do so. You'll be given a test ticket on the actual test day with a very specific ID. You won't get one of those today because we're just logging in as guests, but you know that it's coming. So once you log in as a guest, it'll ask you, "Is this you?" Select Yes to continue. If you haven't done so already, select Grade 9 ELA Reading Practice Test. Once again, you'll see a screen that says, "Is this your test?" Verify that the screen displays the correct test. As with the writing test, This screen allows you to choose the print size, background color, and mouse pointer size and color for your test. If you'd like to change your printer size, background color, or mouse pointer selections, please do so now. Once you've made your selections, click Yes, Start My Test. For this part of the test, you will need headphones or earbuds. If you do not have your own, they will be provided for you by your school. Even if you don't have earphones or earbuds at this time, go ahead and click the sound check screen. Click the speaker icon. Even if you can't hear the sound, click Yes, but on test day, we'll want to make sure that you actually hear the sound. If you do have headphones or earbuds, go ahead and plug them in and give it a try. Once again, if you've heard the sound through the speaker, or if you've clicked the speaker and you don't have earbuds, go ahead and select Yes. It will not affect your ability to move through the practice test. Now you will see the test instructions and help screen as you did before. This gives you information about all of the different instructions and tools that you will be told about and have been told about, just like before. Now select Begin Test Now, but do not begin yet. Before you begin, listen as I describe the screen. For the Grade 9 FSA ELA Reading Practice Test, you will see a reading passage on the left side of your screen and the question and answer area on the right side of your screen. As with the writing test, there is a scroll bar to the right of the reading passage on the left side of your screen. So go ahead and slowly scroll down in the reading passage section by moving your cursor into the reading passage section and either clicking the down arrow at the bottom of the scroll bar or by clicking and dragging the scroll bar. When you're reading these passage sets, make sure that you scroll all the way down and make sure you read each passage and all the passages that are provided. In the top left corner of your screen, you will see the navigation buttons. These will be much more important in this reading test than they were in the writing test. The back and next buttons can be used to move to the previous or next question. The back button is currently deactivated because you are on the first question, but it will be available for later questions. To the right of the next button, you will see the Save button. The Save button allows you to manually save your work. This is an optional feature. If you do not select this button, your answers will be automatically saved every 2 minutes. Next to the Save button is the Pause button. The Pause button allows you to pause and exit the test, but do not select the Pause button at this time. Several of the tools in the reading test are identical to how they work in the writing test. So, I would like you to click on them and experiment with them, but I will not explain them with the same level of depth that I did with the writing test. At the top right corner of your screen, you will see the Notes tool. Go ahead and select it and see that it works exactly as it does in the writing test. When you are finished, either click Cancel or Save and Close. To the right of the Notes button, you will see the Line Reader tool. Just as with the writing test, the Line Reader tool allows you to track your reading progress line by line. Go ahead and turn off the Line Reader tool if you've been using it. Next to the Line Reader button are the Zoom Out and Zoom In buttons with 4 levels of magnification available. These work identically to the writing test. At the top right side of the page, above the Zoom buttons, you will see a small question mark in a light gray circle. This is the Help tool. The Help tool functions identically to how it does in the writing test. Go ahead and click on it just to see, so you are comfortable with this option. In the top right corner of the screen, next to the Help button, you will see a gray wheel. This is the System Settings tool. Now, select System Settings. A pop-up window displays that will allow you to adjust the volume for this practice test. This is very important if for some reason you cannot hear the audio sounds coming out of the machine. When you have finished adjusting your volume, select OK to exit and save your changes, or Cancel to exit without saving your changes. Note that if you attempt to adjust your volume while audio is playing, the volume will not adjust until after you've selected OK. In the top right corner of the Reading Passage panel, you will see similar tools to the writing test, starting with the Expand Passage and Item tool. It looks like a double-sided arrow. This tool will expand the Reading Passage panel or the Question and Answer panel so that they take up most of the screen. Go ahead and experiment by clicking right or left on these arrows to expand the sections and grow comfortable with them. Now look at the top right corner of the Question and Answer panel. You will see 3 gray lines. This is the context menu. This context menu works exactly like the one in the writing test, but go ahead and click it. Just as before, you will see a lowercase I, a flag icon, and a grayed out line that says Highlight Selection. The lowercase I is the tutorial tool that shows you video tutorials, and again, these do not have sound. Go ahead and click the flag icon. This is Mark for Review. This is one of the most important tools that you will be using in the reading test, so please get familiar with it today. This allows you to flag a question that you might want to review at a later time. You can mark an item for review by using the context menu or by right-clicking in the question and answer area and selecting Mark for Review. Once you mark an item for review, the solid blue rectangle around the item number will change to a striped blue rectangle. With the top right corner folded over, a flag icon will appear next to the item number, and the item set in the question drop-down list at the top left corner of the screen will also be labeled Marked. They really want to help you remember which questions to go back to. After you finish reviewing a question, return to the context menu and select Unmark Review Item. You can also right-click and select Unmark Review Item. The item number will revert to a solid blue rectangle, the flag icon will be removed, and the item set in the questions drop-down list will no longer be labeled Marked. Now, practice selecting Mark for Review and Unmark Review Item. You can use the Highlight Selection tool to highlight portions of a question. To highlight, click and drag to select the text that you want to highlight. You can highlight in the passages or in the question and answer options. Once you've highlighted a selection, right-click in the selected area and select Highlight Selection. The text will then be highlighted. To remove the highlighting from text or reset all highlighting, right-click in the item, then select either Remove Highlight or Reset Highlighting from the context menu. Note that if you have multiple sections highlighted, choosing Reset Highlighting will remove all highlighting from that item. To remove only certain portions of highlighting, select the text you want to remove highlighting from, right-click and choose Remove Highlight. Go ahead and practice highlighting and removing highlighting from words in the question just a little bit more. Now select Next to advance to question 2. Now select the context menu and then select the set of letters with a line through them, which is the Strike-Through tool. You can use the Strike-Through tool to cross out answer choices that you have eliminated as possible correct answers. Click Answer Option A. You should see a gray line through Answer Option A. Note that using strike-through on an answer option you have previously chosen does not automatically remove your selection of that response. Strike-through is only available for multiple choice and multi-select item types. To remove a strike-through, click the Eliminated option. Click anywhere outside of the box around the answer choices to turn off the strike-through tool. Go ahead, practice adding and removing strike-throughs. In the top left corner of your screen, you will see a drop-down menu with question numbers. The drop-down menu allows you to quickly move to different passage sets. You can only use the drop-down menu to revisit questions you have already seen. At this time, you will see only one passage set in the drop-down menu. In sessions with more than one passage set, each passage set that you have already seen will display in the drop-down menu. Now we will look at all the types of questions you will see throughout the test. Unless instructed to do so, you do not need to answer the questions at this time. You will have time after we discuss the various item types to practice answering the questions. Click back to return to question 1. This is a selectable hot text item. For this question, you will select 2 phrases from the passage to correctly complete the question. For this type of question, if you have already selected 2 phrases and you want to select a different phrase instead, you must first click the phrase that you want to deselect and then click the new phrase that you want to select. Now select Next to move to question 2. Note that the reading passage in the left panel remains the same, but the question and answer options have changed. You can see how many questions you will have for this reading passage in the top right corner of your question and answer area. Once you've finished those 8 questions, the passage will change. Question 2 has 2 parts, Part A and Part B, and it is an evidence-based selected response item. This question type requires you to read a passage and then answer 2 questions based on the passage. To begin, read the passage on the left. Then read the questions on the right. Read the Part A question, and then read the answer choices. To answer a multiple choice item within a multi-part question, click the button next to an answer choice. The button will become gray. In this question, both items are multiple choice items. Read the Part B question, and then read the answer choices. Then select an answer. To get full credit for a 2-part item on the actual test, be sure to select an answer for Part A and Part B. Now select Next to move to question 3. Question 3 is a drag and drop hot item text. This question type requires you to place and move words and phrases on an answer space. To begin, you will read the directions that display on the screen. You will see an object bank and an answer space. For this question, the object bank is below the answer space. You can drag words and phrases from the object bank to the answer space. Click on an item in the object bank and drag it into the answer space. Read the instructions carefully to see how many of the items you should use and where you should place them. If you need to change an answer once you've dragged the item from the object bank to the answer space, you can either drag the item to a different spot in the answer space or drag the item out of the answer space and back into the object bank. Other questions of this item type may have a delete button to remove selections. Remember that you should only leave objects in the answer space that are meant to be a part of your answer. Leaving objects that you do not intend to be part of your answer in the answer space may negatively affect your score. Now select Next to move to question 4. Question 4 is a single multiple choice item. Thank goodness. You may return to this question later to practice answering it. Select Next to move to question 5. Question 5 is an open response item. This question type requires you to type your answer into a response area. To begin, read the question or instructions on the screen. After you finish reading the question and any other information, think about your answer. You will need to type your answer into the response area. Now, right-click in the response area. The full context menu will display and will now include an arrow around a clock face, which is the Select Response Version tool. This tool, which is only available on open response items, allows you to view and return to previous versions of your response. This tool was covered extensively in the writing portion of the test, so we will move on to question 6. So go ahead and click Next. Question 6 is another multiple choice item. Hooray! Now click Next to move to question 7. Question 7 is a multi-select item. This question type requires you to choose all of the answers you think are correct based on the reading passages on the left. After you finish reading the question or instructions, read the answer choices. Finally, you will click on the box next to an answer option to select your answer. A check mark will appear in the box. Wow! Sometimes this question type will tell you to select all correct options without specifying a number. Others, such as this question, will ask you to select a specific number of items. Now select Next to move to question 8. Question 8 is another two-part multiple choice item. Now select Next. Because you have not yet entered an answer for one or more of the questions for the first reading passage, you will see a pop-up message that warns you that you have not entered a response to one or more items on the page. If you wanted to proceed without answering, you could select Yes. To remain on the page, you would select No. At this time, select No and return to question 8. Go ahead and type in some practice answers to all of these different questions. Do not select End Session until instructed to do so. At this time, I'm going to turn instructions over to the teachers. There is an additional session that you can practice by clicking forward through the reading test. However, you may have questions and teachers may want to give their own comments. So with that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this practice session. I know I have, and I wish you the best of luck on your FSA writing and reading tests.